Hello and welcome back to another Rush Duel video. Today we are taking a look at the new ban list that has just dropped for Rush Duels. Now this is specifically the physical Rush game, not Duel Links. Obviously we do make a lot of Duel Links content here on the channel, but the physical metagame has been in I want to say a pretty good place for quite a long time. Now as you can see, the actual image here for the ban list is the Obsidian Magical Soldier, which is a bit weird because Obsidian Magical Soldier is still a very good card. It's used in the kind of dark spellcaster deck, and originally that deck would abuse Catoir's Choice to kind of fill up the graveyard full of spells and then boost its attack to this ridiculous number, and it felt very unfair. Since Catoir's Choice got here, I thought that deck was in a pretty good place where it was still very strong, but it wasn't this like ridiculous threat, right? I think it feels like it's kind of around the power level of Harpies, of Royal Rebels, and of the new Prime deck that do seem to kind of be putting their own foothold in the meta and do seem to be the dominant decks. So predictions going in, obviously Obsidian Magical Sorcerer is being hit somehow. I don't think putting this card to 2 would do much, so I'm going to predict that's going to go down to 1, which again was not on my radar at all. I did not think this was going to get hit, but since it's here on the list, I guess we're going to assume it is. Then Harpies, I think, is probably going to receive a hit. I don't know if you hit their new card, the level 4 that can pop any monster. I think if I was going to hit anything, maybe you try and hit some of the consistencies, and maybe that's something like Elegant Egotist. Or you could hit I don't think you can really hit their trap cards in any meaningful way. The only other thing I'd probably hit is maybe Triangle Ecstasy Spark, just because that card does sometimes read as kind of just win the game. But I don't think it's so oppressive that it becomes ridiculous. I do think the only card that feels a little bit unfair in there is the Harpy Lady Pet Master. And again, I don't really see that card getting hit so early, so maybe Harpies just won't receive any hit at all. Then Royal Rebels is another weird one. Obviously, Progressive is what kind of has opened them up and let them become this very, very powerful deck now. I don't necessarily think you hit any of their monsters. Maybe you hit one of their new spell cards, but I really couldn't put my finger on which one. I know that deck is very strong, but I don't think any one card in particular, other than maybe Progressive, really lets them be as strong as they are. So maybe we won't see anything hit there, because I really don't see Progressive getting hit this early. And then that leaves the Prime deck. Again, too early. I don't think that deck's getting hit. Again, I think the meta is in an okay place right now. I don't think we necessarily need much hit. There isn't much degeneracy going on. A lot of the loops have kind of been dealt with, so I wouldn't be surprised this was quite a small ban list. So if we talk about things that are going to come off of the list, I don't know. I think everything on there is probably fine. The XQE stuff that is on there should probably stay, although a lot of it has been coming off, and XQE is doing quite well right now. I don't think we necessarily hit anything in XQE, even though the deck is doing okay. But I would not like to see any of the current stuff on the list come off. I know there's still a lot of people that really like Thunderbolt to come off, but again, I really don't want Thunderbolt to come off. So I think my predictions is going to be Obsidian to 1, maybe Harpy card gets hit. If it is, it will be Pet Master, but I still think it's too early, or Ecstasy Spark, or Elegant Egotist. Then Royal Rebels, if anything gets hit, I think it'll probably be a spell card. And then, which again, I think is too soon, realistically. And then Prime, I don't think it's going to get hit. So I guess that's kind of it. I don't think anything else is going to. Maybe something XQE gets hit. But again, that deck's doing good, but it's not crazy right now. It's not overpowered or anything. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's go in and see what we're looking at. So, forbidden cards. Looks like we still only have the one. So we have the one and only ban card, Barrier Statue of the Inferno. So this card, really annoying Floodgate. It's quite happy that it's gone. Oh, actually, one other card I would like to see is Sky Savior Ciela back to 2. I think putting that card down to 1 pretty much killed that deck. I think put that back to 2 or even 3, and instead hit the actual Floodgate monsters that Ciela goes into down to like 1 copy each. I think that would be better. But I don't think they will do that. That's just kind of my wish list. Alright, restricted cards. Let's see. First up. Okay, nothing new yet. Just Tiger Roll and Necromaid Nana. Again, these cards were used in loops, which is why they're here. Konami really doesn't like their loops, so we just get rid of all the loop cards. Then, okay, yeah, Ciela's still at 1, which is a bit of a shame, because Sky Savers is a really cool deck when it's not doing the whole Floodgate thing. Ciela is part of the main deck engine, and it really hurts the consistency having this card be hit. And it's obviously just a really good effect as well. I don't think the effect is super overpowered, but it is very, very strong. And obviously Thunderbolt is still here. Thunderbolt is still really, really strong, and I don't think realistically can come off the list yet. Then, okay, Obsidian Magical Sorcerer down to 1. And again, we were expecting this put down to 2. I don't think we'd do much. Grand Extreme as well is fine. I think it's maybe a little bit past its prime. I think most people aren't playing Sea Serpents very much at the moment, so maybe this card could just come off the list, to be honest. But yeah, we'll have a look. Then we have Magical Stone and Captoirs. So again, nothing new so far, except for the Magical... I mean, maybe Obsidian Magical Knight is going to be the only thing that gets hit. That could just be... Again, I think the meta is actually in a pretty good spot, so we don't actually need to hit anything. Okay, so nothing on there. So now we'll go down to the semi-limits. So again, no change, no change, no change, no change. Black Demon Soldier is the only thing that's new. So next up we have... Wait, Lilius was at 1, right? So this is... up to 2. Oh, we didn't actually notice that up here. Okay, so Lilius to 2. So that's a buff to XQE. That deck's already doing quite well. I don't think they needed a buff, and I'm getting flashbacks back to tier 0 XQE format. I know a lot of people really like XQE. I've never been a huge fan of it, and I'm a little bit worried about this being here. Okay, Progress Potter again, I think it's always going to stay at 2. I think that's fine. All right, let's see if there's anything else. Oh, so we didn't actually talk about this, but Legend Magician and Legend Strike are cards that we have had our eye on for a very long time. We actually predicted this would get hit in the last ban list, but it didn't. And at that stage, I was like, well, maybe it's just not going to get hit at all. But it looks like they have decided to hit it. So it's a little bit weird, because I kind of would have rather they hit Legend Strike than Legend Magician, but maybe they've hit both. But Legend Magician is good on its own in a lot of decks. Now it's basically just going to hurt the consistency, because if you're still playing 2 Legend Magician in a deck, and you're still playing a Legend Normal, you'll still play the 3 Strike, right? It's still going to be fine. I don't think it, like, kills that small little package, but it will make it feel a bit weird. Like I said, I would have rather they hit the spell card than the monster, but that's fine. And again, we really do not want to see any more of our 7's Wonder Fusion, because this card, again, was completely broken when it was at 3. It's calmed down a little bit, but that deck is still very playable and still very strong. Let's see what else we got. Oh, okay, so this is actually pretty big. So we have 2 cards. So Magical Spear, I believe, was at 1 and has now gone to 2. So that is interesting. I guess that boosts Gaia, which is already, again, a deck that's doing quite well. We should have probably spoken about that in the breakdown as well. And it does, to some extent, boost 7's Wonder Fusion. So that's a little bit scary. Obviously, these 2 cards did get hit to try and stop 7's Wonder Fusion from being this crazy, overpowered OTK, FTK kind of deck. And now that's kind of been undone a little bit. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see how scary that gets. And then there is Triangle Ecstasy Spark. This is a card that we did think might get hit. I would have thought Elegant Egotist would have been better to hit, just to try and hurt the consistency of the deck. But again, this card does just sometimes read-win the game. But I think a lot of lists were only playing 2 of this anyway, so I don't know if this is actually going to affect the Harpies that much. Obviously, it will still hurt, but will it hurt them in such a way that they're not still the best deck? Probably not. So maybe there'll be another hit on here. And there's one last spell. Legend Strike as well. Okay. So Legend Strike and Legend Magician down to 2 copies is fine. I don't know. I think people will probably still play this as a Legend Monster, 2 Legend Magician, and then 2 Legend Strike package. Like, some people have been playing something similar to this, where they've been playing the 2 Strike, 3 Legend Magician. I think this is still fine, especially if you're still playing a level 4 Axis deck, and you still want to just spam out monsters. The reason Legend Strike was really good for a lot of decks was that a lot of types don't have access to back row hate. So Legend Strike kind of fills that gap, as well as when you're playing a mixed deck, so something a bit more variety-wise, such as a XQE deck, which actually XQE is a terrible example because we're all off 6s, but that kind of thing, where you're playing a bunch of different types, it again gives you access to Spell Trap hate. But the downside is this card can be used by pretty much any deck, including the decks that already have back row hate, and cheats out a monster, which is very, very strong. Being able to cheat out a high-level Legend monster can also be really, really good. So we've been saying this card's too good for a while, and now that it's been hit, I guess that's a good thing. So now we'll just take a look again. Is there any cards that were removed? So nothing. So nothing's come off of the list to be back to 3. So yeah, all in all, I think this is fine. It's very minor hits. I think the Legend Strike hit is a little bit late. I think realistically, Legend Strike could have been hit a while ago. Obsidian Magical Sorcerer, I think, is also fine. I think that this is probably going to kill that deck, right? Because now it's going to be very inconsistent to find your one copy of Sorcerer, and if it does get milled, you've then got to recover it from the graveyard, which isn't too hard realistically, but can be a little bit annoying. You have to like plan for that. XQE obviously going up in stonks. Harpies, I think this isn't really going to change Harpies. I think Harpies are just going to play it too and be fine. This, again, the Spear, good for Gaia, and probably really good for Seven's Wonder Fusion. So we'll have to see if that deck ends up cropping up again. But yeah, overall, pretty good. I'm quite happy with this ban list. It's kind of low impact. The biggest hit, obviously, is to the Spellcaster deck, and the biggest buff, I guess, is to the XQTs. So I'm really looking forward to playing these changes, which we will be adapting in Character Draft just as soon as they go live. So thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.